Hi, my name's Pretty. Welcome to the Women Money Business Podcast. As you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I have two businesses, and I just wanted to talk about my entrepreneur journey to date, kind of. So I was maybe 6 years old. Yeah, 5, 6 years old. And my grandma used to walk me to school. It was like we used to live on a main road, and the road used to be lined with like blossom trees, and it was just a really nice walk. So my grandma was from India, and she didn't really speak much English, and she would drop me off to school, and she would obviously pick me up as well. And when she used to pick me up, I used to pretty much beg her, like, can you take me to the sweet shop? As every child probably did at the time. So I'd always ask her, can I go to the sweet shop? And sometimes she would say yes, sometimes she would say no, but maybe once a week she would say yes. And then I used to pick the Mojos, like 1p Mojo sweets, and the bubblies, which were 2p at the time. So probably in total, probably spent 10p on each visit. A couple of the times when we've gone or tried to go, she said, no, I don't have enough money to take you, and we can't go this time. So I just thought, right, so how can I get my sweet fix at the age of 5 or 6 and not take money from her? And how am I going to get money basically to buy these sweets? So my first option was that we were at school, we were learning about money, and we had sort of like plastic money that we would do sort of tasks with in the classroom. And I remember sort of keeping in my hand a plastic 50p piece. So in my head, I thought I spend 10p each time. So if I take this 50p plastic piece, then that means I can go 5 times, because I would go once a week and spend 10p. So let's be honest, it was theft from the school department, and I was really nervous about it, and I was just thinking, I don't know what, I'm going to get caught or whatever. But I put the plastic 50p in my pocket, and my grandma came to collect me after school, and I asked her, I said, can I go to sweet shop? She said no, and I said, but the difference today is that I've got money. And then she said, where did you get the money from? And I said, I've just got it, let's not talk about that. I've just got it. So can we go? And she was like, well, okay, if you've got the money, that's fine. So we went to the shop and picked whatever I wanted. And maybe in 5, 6-year-old me, I didn't think the lady would notice that it was a plastic 50p piece. So I remember sort of really nervously taking it out of my pocket and just sort of handing it across to the lady. And I still remember her now. She had like glasses like perched on her nose, like a big grey hair with a little bun at the back, a little bit like a sumo wrestler bun. And she had glasses, and she just sort of looked at me over her glasses. And then as I gave 50p, and then she kept looking at me, and she just said, lady, this is not real money. And then she then explains to my grandma that your granddaughter just given me fake money. So let's be honest, my grandma was not happy with me. So then she clipped me around the ear and said, what are you doing? Why have you done that? That's out of order. You're not having sweets now. That's it. You're not having any sweets. We're going home. And she apologized to the lady. So she took me home. She told my mum and dad. I got told off, obviously. And that was that. So then I was thinking, I need real money. I need real money. But I'm 6 years old. Where do I get real money? So my parents didn't used to give me pocket money or anything like that. So I started to think, and I just thought, I remember my mum used to buy me like bridesmaids dresses, and I remember when she used to go and look at them, they were I thought they were really expensive, and at the time, but obviously when you're growing as a child, you grow really quickly and you outgrow those dresses. So I had quite a few of those dresses that I'd outgrown, but my mum used to keep them to take them back to India to give to my cousins and stuff. So one day, I think a couple of weeks later, I just thought, what I'm going to do? I can maybe try and sell the dresses. So I spoke to the girls at school, and I said to the girls at school, if I bought some dresses in, would you buy them? And they were like, okay, well, we'll ask our mum for money. And I said, okay, so I'm going to bring these dresses in on this date. So if you want to buy them, you have to bring some money with you from your mum. And that was that. So I then smuggled, I think I took 4, maybe 5 of my dresses, and I reckon they probably cost my mum maybe like £200 in total, like what, £50 a dress or whatever. So I took them. Obviously didn't have even though I knew they were expensive, didn't fully appreciate how expensive they would have been, because they were bought from like wedding shop sales, basically, because mum used to like all the silks and the rich sort of fabrics, being Indian. So I took them to school, and I just thought, I can't just show them the dresses. Like, I just want them to like appreciate the dress. And I remember there was like a little bush, and we used to hide behind that bush. And then I went behind there, took my bag, because I smuggled them into school in my backpack, and then they were all crushed. So I sort of opened them out, put one on, and I told the girls, like, I'm going to do a fashion show, so you can have a look at the full outfit and just see if you want to buy it. So, and again, I'm 6, I think, at this point. So I did that for my 4 or 5 outfits that I took. I sold them all. And I think I sold them for between £2 and £3 each. So obviously made a massive loss compared to what they'd currently cost. But in my mind, I now had like a year, maybe not a year's worth, but at least 6 months worth of spending money for my 10p weekly spend on sweets. So I then my grandma picked me up again, and I said, like, can I go to sweet shop? And I think she was thinking, for God's sake, like, no, like, you know, you've got fake money, or like, I'm not going to give you any money, and no. So then I was like, I've got real money. And she was like, you haven't, you did this last time, you haven't. And I said, I have. So I showed her, and then she was like, where have you got that from? And I said, it doesn't matter, like, I've got money, so can you take me to the shop? So I went back to the shop. The lady with the grey hair with the glasses on an end of her nose was like, you know, let me check your money. And I bought my sweets, and I felt such a massive I felt really like powerful. I felt like, you know what, I did that. Like, I have monetized what's clothes that I wasn't going to wear, and I've sold them, and they've had a new life, you know, they've been repurposed, and I've got this money. And it's only recently that when I've been reflecting on my journey into business and why I've had that urge, that I don't know what the urge is in terms of becoming an entrepreneur, but from a very young age, I understood that if I've got something and I can sell it for something, that means I can sort of go the next step up and do what I want to do with that money. And like I say, it's only been recently when I've been reflecting on it, thinking, was I born an entrepreneur, or did I learn that, or was it a complete fluke? And I think what we need to consider is that it might be a combination of those things. And back then, when my parents were my parents were my parents, and then they were entrepreneurs, but without realizing they were entrepreneurs. So I've witnessed them sort of build business from scratch, from nothing. I've witnessed them scale that business. I've also witnessed them lose those businesses and then do it again, and then lose it and do it again. And whether that's genetic, whether that's subconscious, subliminal, learnt behaviour, nature, nurture, I don't know. But I think there's a part of you that is a born entrepreneur, and then part of you, that's your environment that you are surrounded by and what you see whilst you're growing up. And then the other part of you is that you want better. This is not the limit for you. You want to go up here. And how do you get up there? You have to then use your brain, think of those ideas. What can you have that you can sell for a greater amount, make a profit, rinse, repeat, and move up to where you want to be? That could be all up there, but it could be here. But the fact is, you want to progress. You don't want to be stagnant. You don't want to be just like, you know, this will do. There's that urge, that burning desire to do something more, like with purpose. And I think that I don't think you can teach that. I think you have to feel that. You have to see it, and you have to maybe even live it in some respect, whether that's living through it with your parents, living through it in, you know, when you're doing certain things in your life. Something has to, I think there's something that flips that switch and that makes you think, do you know what, I need to do something. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I just need to do it. And they might fail at it, but then that's part of the journey, because you can go to university, you can go to, do all these courses, do all your degrees, you can have the knowledge. But as I probably said in previous podcasts before, knowledge is only powerful if you action it. And sometimes the knowledge that you're acquiring, you don't even realize you're getting that knowledge because you're not reading about it. You're not watching videos on it. You are just immersed in it in your life. And that life experience, that life knowledge, you cannot be taught that. You feel it. And that's the only way I can describe it. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, do you know what? I resonate with that. Like, I think I do want to do something, but I don't know what it is. Or I feel like there's something more, that I'm not happy where I am. There's something more, but how do I know what that is? So I would say sit down, have a little word with yourself and think about what makes you happy, what drives you, what makes you feel excited, what makes you feel like, do you know what? I would love to do that. Like, is it that you like fashion? Is it that you like cars? Is it that you like electronics? Is it that you like talking? Is it that you like traveling? What is it? Because whatever it is, I can probably 100% guarantee you can become an entrepreneur with that. But you have to feel it. And that's the only thing that I can really sort of, I'm not sure if I'm getting it across fully, but I just feel truly you have to feel it. Once you feel it, you believe it and you will do it. I hope that helps somebody, and thank you for listening. So my next podcast, please join me on that one. I will be having some guest speakers coming up very soon, and I'm really looking forward to sharing those guys with you. Speak soon.